Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's here in the house, then we'll get into this. Mr. Andrew Masad, as always, good to see you. Crypto Frank, good morning, sir. Broskis, good to see you. Douglas, good morning, sir. We have Black Hat Team, 20-0, good to see you. 20-011 actually is his full name. Swamp 7, love that name. Haven't seen you before actually. Not Swamp 7, but 20-0. I haven't seen you before. Good to see you. Nick K, good to see you, man. We have 10 minutes to midnight. Good morning, sir. Savage White Hero, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while either. Good to see you. Duke and all you guys. All right, let's get into this. If anybody I missed, I apologize. Bitcoin 61,383 bucks. Everything seems to have turned green as the guys go back to work over at the port. So they've come to an agreement for, I don't know, 90 days to like January 15th or something. And then I don't know if there's more negotiating or what, but regardless, we'll watch a little clip on that and kind of explain it a little bit. But yeah, anyways, Ethereum 23.77. We got Solana at 139 bucks. XRP is at 52 cents. Look at this, man. Like how can they come out and say they're going to be shooting for an ETF and then the price just completely tanks about 10 cents? Like XRP just continues to let people down. I know the SEC is kind of trying to bring up some court BS with them again. I don't know if they're like countersuing or I honestly have no idea what's happening, but we're gonna find out in crypto world. CNBC television this morning. ADA 35 cents. We have Near Protocol over here at $4.68, up about 1.5%. We have Caspa just about 15 cents, actually at 14.8, up 1.65%. Everything kind of just halted. It really didn't go back up or recover much. It just kind of, everything's stagnant. LTC 64 bucks. I guess we'll have to see what happens later on today. I still think everything is literally on fire sale, so I'm still picking stuff up. I picked up more Caspa yesterday. ETC, we got $18 at 48 cents over here. Dogecoin is almost at 11 cents, I guess 10.7, right, up 2.2%. Shiba is up 4.5% today. We have Pepe still down on the day. Nothing really jumping out at me. BNB 553 bucks. XMR, actually it looks pretty good, 5.68% up on the day to 146 bucks. Look at that. What's up, Crypto Bedell? Good to see you, buddy. Keen Bean, good morning, sir. And Peapod Bill, my man, what's up? All right, Crypto Bubbles, biggest earner of the day, this FTT token. I still can't believe people own this or buy this. I don't understand it. It's 20% up on the day to $2.40. Apparently they're gonna be paying people back, so I think that's like what this is all about, but I don't know. You guys let me know in the chat if you know anything about it. Hex is up 15.2% as well, second place over here to a penny and a half, a little more than a penny and a half, 1.6 to be exact. We got Arrow Dome Finance over here, ranked 90th, up 9.2% to $1.15. Sui's down 7.9% today to $1.75. That might be a decent buy, actually. That might be a decent buy. What do you guys think? Is that a good buy for Sui? How do I change the, oh, here we go. Week, month. I lied. I guess it's kind of near the top. I guess that's kind of near the top, so that's really nothing crazy. All right, never mind. Do what you want. I don't care. Not financial advice. Beam over here seems to be up a little bit, 1.6 today, so a little over a penny and a half rather, 7.4%. We have Celestia up 6.2% to $5.12. Interesting. Renders up 5% today to $5.52. Not too bad. Nice. Yeah, nothing's really jumping out at me. All right, flashbang, let's do it. We have 41 on the fear and greed index over here. Everything is still in fear. Yesterday it was actually at 37, so we're a little bit more up than yesterday, but at the same time we're still where we should be and we need to climb this needle slowly. Mr. Crypto Frank says, is Hex a scam coin? There was some guy at Mining Disrupt 2 years ago saying buy, but he was sketchy as well. Dude, that Richard Hard guy, I have no opinion. Oh, I lied. I have an opinion on him, but I have no I guess evidence of him being a scammer, but he sure is weird. All right. He's a weird character, wearing all his girls clothing and stuff, or buying purses and whatever the hell else he does with his money. I don't know. Good to see you all set. Good to see you, buddy. All right, top 10 coins over here by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USDC, XRP, Lido Staked Ether, Dogecoin, and Tron in 10th place at a $13.6 billion market cap. I'm still shocked that XRP is in 7th place at a $29 billion market cap. Like, why?
Stop the cap.
I don't understand it. It continuously gets beaten down, like beaten down in such a shitty way every single time. Every time it has good news, it's like, we're gonna have a pump. Oh no, we didn't. We dumped every single time. Anyways, Toncoin over here in 11th place at a $13.5 billion market cap, and Cardano's in 12th place at a 12.5. So Cardano's slowly falling behind further and further. I guess we're about $1 billion behind now. Let's see, Shiba 14th place. Shiba, I'm still shocked about Shiba too, to be honest. Shiba's holding up really well considering it's a meme coin and is a $10 billion market cap. Not really sure why, but please pump my bags. We have 23rd place for Near Protocol over here at a $5.1 billion market cap. I think Near is probably going to be a decent buy. Again, this is another one of them coins that's about 80% down. Let's see, 77% as of right now, but it was 80% not too long ago. Litecoin, again, another one of these that are is a good buy in my opinion. 80% down over 3 years, so I think you guys will make your money back on that one easily. 26th place for Litecoin. We have 32nd place for Caspa. Again, this one's never seen a bull run, so we're gonna have to see, but it was at a 4.2 billion. Now it's at a 3.7 billion market cap. Let's see, we got Ethereum Classic, again another one of these coins down over 80%, $2.7 billion market cap to $18. ETC, I really want to see something happen with ETC. I don't know, it's letting us down though, just like ETH when it comes to mining. Render over here 44th place at a $2.1 billion market cap, $5.51. Could be worse. All right, moving on to mining segment of things. You guys know I like to timestamp these machines. Let's see, we got over here at 10 cents per kilowatt hour profits on the AL1 Pro 16.6 terahash unit. We're making $43.81 a day. Bruh. It is going down slowly. AL1 15.6 terahash unit making $41.16 a day. The AL3 15 terahash unit making $39.28. Again, this is after you pay your power bill. This is what you actually profit if you have 10 cents per kilowatt hour. The L9 17 gigahashes is making $15.11 a day, and the 16 gigahash unit rather is making $14.22 a day. The KS5 Pro 21 terahash unit making $13.32, and the 20 terahash unit makes $12.69 a day. Nice. Let me just scroll down a bit, see where my L7 is. My L7, my 9050 over here. You guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them if you want hosting. Links in the description. 10 cents per kilowatt hour down there. I'm making $4.38 per day. So again, the machine's been profitable throughout the entire bear market. Love it. AL Blocks 3. Has anybody bought one of these things? Please don't. 1.25 terahashes making $2.53 a day. Miserable. We get the AL Box 2 Plus 1 terahash unit. I got this thing. I actually forgot to shut it off last night. It almost killed all my solar stuff. I left so much stuff on last night. I forgot to shut it off. $2.03 a day. Damn. That's so bad. That is so bad. Why is it so bad? I can't do gold shell anymore. Yeah. Edible zebra. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Listen, like, I like their miners, but I don't like the price or the watt per hash rate. Do you know what I mean? It's just they're burning too many bridges with how they're doing things. That is my humble opinion. And it's yeah, they're just coming out with these units too fast. Like, you need to give people a chance to ROI their units before you go and dump on them like Jordan. you're just jumping over them and just fucking hitting them on the top of the head because You want to come out with a new unit and make more money? I don't understand it. Just come out with a better unit first. I don't get it. I don't get it. Send your gold shells to me. I will give them a home, says Vinny. Yeah, you can do that too. I'll take free ones for sure, but buying them, I don't know. Ice River AL0 over here. We have the 400 gigahash unit at 100 watts, making $1 a day. Man, I think going down quick too. RX0, so people have just got these 260 gigahashes at 95 cents a day. Sorry, at 100 watts, making 95 cents a day. Real quick, let's see. This is gonna be a flashbang. We're gonna see how much radiant we're gonna get today. 260. Oh, it was 1200 3 days ago, and now it's at 1152. You guys better get these machines on if you want to make some coin. Losing 50 a day as of right now. Interesting. The AL blocks, the original 360 gigahashes at 180 watts. They charged $6 for these things. Bruh. 71 cents a day. That's awful. All right. Ice River KS0 Ultra 400 gigahashes, 100 watts, 16 cents a day. Damn. That's so bad. All right, I'm done. Actually, I lied. I'm not done. I gotta look at my S19K. I want to see how bad it is today. Losing 75 cents on my 120 terahash Bitcoin miner. I'm still solo mining Bitcoin Cash. It's been over a month. It's been almost 2 months, and I have not hit a block yet. 3 months I should hit a block. Projected 3 months. I don't know if it's gonna happen though. We're gonna see. I'm taking the risk. I'm taking the gamble. I'm losing money a day every day anyways, so it doesn't really make a damn difference to me. All right, moving on to GPUs. Let's see what we got over here. Looks like a Leo all the way across the board, except for the 170HX. If anybody has one of those. Yeah. All right, a Leo. A Leo is the coin that you're gonna be mining today. Let's see what the price of a Leo is. Let's see. Leo down 6% today, $4.57. Yeah, it's been riding down slowly. It's been up to $6, down $2, just about $2 down. Interesting, but it's still profitable for GPUs, so sweet. That was actually, you know what, it's profitable at 10 cents. I don't know what it is at 30. Let's see. How's the power rate on Leo? Yeah, it's still pretty good, so it must not be that it's not core intensive. Obviously, I don't know anything about a Leo. I have not used it. Oh god, I screwed this all up. There we go. All right, back to that. A lithium, what are we looking like? $1.45, up 2.3% today. I don't know. It's kind of riding with everything else, but I get it. People are selling to make their money back. It's totally understandable. All right, moving on to the news. We have a lot of things I want to watch today. All right, port workers, U.S. Maritime Alliance agree to a deal ending the strike. They say ending the strike, but I think it's only until like January 15th or something. And then they gotta, I don't know if renegotiate or make sure everything went through, but let's see what they got to say over here. It's breaking news.
All right, that breaking news right now. WJZ has just learned an agreement has been reached between longshoremen and the United States Maritime Alliance. There's Tara Lynch. She's been all week long following this strike. So tell us what you know, Tara.
This is sped up to 1.2, by the way.
Well, Denise, we're here exclusively with ILA Local 333 President Scott Cowan. Scott, you just made the announcement to your folks. The strike is over.
Yes, the strike's over. We got a call from our international. We're going to receive a 61.5% increase over the next 6 years, and we're going to
61.5% increase over the next 6 years. So it's like 10% a year.
Have other language to protect us from automation worked out over the next few months and other issues that we need resolved.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, you just said so. The automation thing is the thing that's over the next few months, dude. It's unfortunate, but I'm sorry, it's gonna go automated. They're getting a 10% raise per year, and their automation deal is only good for the next couple months. So after the election, they're probably gonna figure it out. And I'm sorry, but there's no way they're not gonna have those machines moving the containers for them and putting them on trucks. Like, there's no way.
Very business with me right now. What is your emotion for you and your members?
I'm happy for them so they can get back to work and take care of their families. I mean, they've been out here for 3 days around the clock, so this is a good thing for everybody. It's a good thing for the state, the port, and all the members here and all their families.
The money question, I think, is when will this port start to see action? When will people be back on the terminal grounds unloading and loading cargo?
Tomorrow morning.
What do you think that will be like? I mean, I've seen some of the emotion from some of your members who are just off camera from us now. They are thrilled. I mean, what does this mean to them?
Jeez.
It means that they can
Fucking lady almost just ran into the truck trying to say hi to people on the camera.
They can provide, put food on the table, pay their bills. They don't have to worry anymore, possibly losing their cars or their homes or anything like that. You know, we're just coming back off of a major catastrophe, maritime tragedy with the bridge collapse. We were out of work for 2 months. Now we're out of work for a few more days. We're very excited to be back.
And talk to us about, why these members, you spoke to us exclusively earlier, but you said they deserve this raise. Not always do they get work. Not always do they pick up hours. Why is this wage increase so important? And why is protection against automation so important to you?
Well, the protection against automation is, robots don't pay taxes and they don't put food on your table. So it's very important to protect these jobs. And as far as, the cost of everything's up. These folks work during COVID night and day, getting goods to market. It's so important for them to finally get it on the back end, all the hard work that they put in for this country during COVID.
Scott, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. We appreciate you speaking with us earlier as well, and congratulations on this new deal.
Sure, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Denise, back to you.
Sweet. All right, so that's the scoop of it. But yeah, I guess the couple month thing is just the automation stuff. So interesting. So that's the January 15th thing I've been hearing about. All right, we're gonna move on. So like a lot of sad news over in North Carolina. A lot of people were affected by that hurricane stuff, and it says there's a pattern of abandonment under the Biden and Harris administration, obviously, right? So apparently they came out and said there was going to be a one-time benefit for people affected by this of $750, but yet they can give billions of dollars, or millions of dollars rather, over to Ukraine and to help support a war. And I don't understand it at all. It's absolutely bullshit in my opinion, but I want to hear what they got to say over here on Fox News.
Congressman Corey Mills, he's on the ground in
Jesus.
North Carolina helping to deliver supplies. Congressman, I see the helicopter behind you, and I heard you just
actually I forgot as well, yesterday there was a father and son that had a private helicopter, or have a private helicopter, and they were like threatened to be arrested for helping people. I don't understand. Yes, Max Voltage, I'm serious.
Off of it a few moments ago. Tell us what you were up to.
I want to see what they have to say about this.
So thanks so much for having me, Laura. Yeah, we've got a patient that we had to do an emergency medevac on, unable to get support, blood pressure through the roof, showing signs of not just infection and the bone disease, but really in kind of a troubling area. Great spirits, amazing woman. But we've done quite a few of these types of evacs, from an 83-year-old man that was showing signs of cardiac arrest.
That's the governor going down that friggin' zip line in the helicopter, dude. What a badass. That's sick.
Rescued from Bailey into Johnson City. We've delivered, thanks to our partnership with Mercury One and Glenn Beck's team, over 18,000 pounds of supplies. We've put up over 20+ Starlink systems. We've gone across all of Asheville, Burnsville, Shella.
Hold on. Sorry, Max. I know you explained it, but I still don't agree with it. I think it's a bunch of horse shit.
We've gone to Broad River, South Toe, Mountain High School today.
With all due respect.
We've gone into Pensacola, continuing to try and do what the federal government won't, and that's the reality. I saw my first FEMA truck today, and they admitted that they just got here this morning. And meanwhile, yesterday, Laura, you had President Biden, who came in here, shut down our actual capabilities for up to 4 hours, putting a 30-mile TFR after abandoning this place for, 6 days. Unfortunately, it's not named Ukraine, North Carolina, or they would have already had enough money. And then you think about Mayorkas, who said they're at the end of their funding, but he doesn't want to tell the American people that money that was supposed to go to disaster relief was actually...
Look at the flooding. This whole area is just wiped out. Dude, that's terrifying. I feel so bad for these people.
Utilized and repurposed for immigration resettlement. So let's go ahead and call the truth to what is going on here. It's the America Last agenda. It's focused on 9,000 miles away, not 990 miles away. Let's keep our borders open while we go ahead and secure everyone else. Let's drive up everyone's medical costs, because we're going to do, uncompensated medical treatments for those who are illegally here through the criminal migrants, and add to angel families. And so we're going to be on the ground. We're going to continue to help the people until the federal government, and I can tell you, this is community-based. This is veterans who are coming together. These are charity organizations who are coming together, and it's the community who is delivering. It is not the federal government at this point.
That thumbs up bubble that just popped up behind him was so weird.
Well, I keep watching these social media posts, Congressman, of folks who've gotten their cell phones powered up somehow. And these are moms with 2 and 3 kids who say, we've run out of diapers. We have very, very little food left.
So sad.
And we keep hearing about supplies, but where are they? Like, how, I keep saying this, how are we a superpower when we leave our people stranded, and yet every time Zelensky comes into town, he gets another, couple $100 million.
It's true.
Well, Laura, think about it. There's been a complete pattern of abandonment under Biden and Harris. Let's go through it for a moment and just recall what it was. 2021, you got the Afghan botched withdrawal. I conducted the first overland rescue successfully of an American, a mother and 3 children from Amarillo, Texas, before they were willing to try and get anyone out, and even grounding aircraft over in Kunduz. Then you've got, fast forward to October 7th, the most horrendous incident that's ever happened, barbarism.
Dude, like, how does that happen? Look at the destruction here. Like, this thing ripped up the road.
In Israel. I was on the ground 4 days later conducting the first rescues, 32 people out of Tiberias, Nazareth, and Haifa. Then with 255 in total that we ended up getting out before the administration sent a single plane in. Then let's go back to just April and May, where we had to go into Haiti after the war-torn area collapsed under the gangs and rescue the first 23 Americans by helo rescues and 59 children who are being left behind. This administration, what the pattern is, you have to shame them into doing what is right.
It's a dereliction.
Is this all water damage? I think it is, right? Or is it a combination of both water and wind?
Duty. Congressman, this is a dereliction of duty, but Joe Biden did speak today and said basically, well, we got it under control. Watch.
Days before the storm hit, I pre-positioned extensive resources on the ground throughout the Southeast, extensively. First responders, search and rescue teams, food, water, ambulances, before Helene had made landfall.
What I read from accounts in North Carolina and Tennessee was that most of that material was positioned in the Big Bend area of Florida, which is fine, but it really wasn't pre-positioned up the southeast where the storm was going to go. Is that right, or am I reading something incorrectly?
No, you're exactly right, but also he's failed to utilize Title 10 to help our Department of Defense to be able to deploy out. You've got Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Cherry Point, Camp Lejeune, Hope Air Force Base. We got aviation regiments who could have been here immediately. Then he shows up 6 days later making promises that likely won't be kept. We've talked to a FEMA individual today who said, well, if they want to know where we're at, all they have to do is track what the media is reporting. These are people without houses, without power. Then she said, oh, well, maybe they can just get into their cars and charge their phone and turn it on to find out where we are. They were in an isolated one truck who just showed up this morning, and they're like, we're processing people for FEMA, but yet they have no idea how to go house to house to even get it done. So there's nothing being done here. It's the community who is coming together. It's the charities and veteran organizations who are delivering. And I'm okay with one thing, which is that if we're not going to go ahead and continue to fund these types of things, if American people are going to do it for them, then let's go ahead and get the money back to the states so they can take care of themselves.
Well, Congressman, my angle was about zero oversight. Congress keeps greenlighting these massive spending bills and just, oh, it's a rush. It's before Christmas. It's before Christmas. We got to sign it. And then meanwhile, there's a huge amount of money being used for non-Americans, illegal immigrants. So they get all the money, and these people are seeing their houses float away, and then Kamala comes in and says, we'll give you $750 for immediate needs. It's just, this is crazy. This is crazy stuff.
Laura, it's even crazier that I went into Pensacola, Florida. Not a single federal government agent's been there. We had the chief come to us and say, we just had 4 fatalities. 2 people just washed down the river. They couldn't recover the bodies on. And his exact quote, and I'm not paraphrasing, when he said, we'll be uncovering and unburying bodies until the end of the year.
Well, Pete Buttigieg doesn't want anyone flying drones in the area. He's worried about that. I think part of this is, I think they don't want Americans to really see the extensive nature of this damage. It is a heartbreak. 200 plus people now dead in this storm, and that our focus should be at home as this kind of stuff is going on. Congressman, you are doing such great work. It shouldn't be up to you and other volunteers. Our federal government should be leading this along with state agencies to the extent they can.
Well, if Biden's not going to do his job, I will, Laura. And as an elected official, I will always put we the people first.
Yeah, well, I think Congress.
I didn't expect him to say that, but that was pretty rough. All right, AI could be the biggest productivity enhancer since electricity. Let's see what they got to say over here on CNBC television.
And now, speaking of AI and tech stocks, let's bring in Dom Rizzo. He is portfolio manager at T. Rowe Price, oversees the firm's global technology fund. Hey, good to see you, Dom. So we had Jensen from NVIDIA, Julie from Accenture here on Overtime yesterday, in part making the case that the expansion of NVIDIA's software ecosystem is going to be financially significant, the era of industrial AI. So if we're testing, analyzing, iterating physical products in the digital world a decade from now, is that already priced into Synopsys, Autodesk, Procore, Samsara, C3?
Real quick, how much was sent to Ukraine compared to New York? I mean, New York, North Carolina. I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, first off, thanks for having me, John. It was such a great interview yesterday with Jensen and Julie, where they laid out how AI is really going to penetrate into the enterprise on top of NVIDIA's two operating systems, right? AI Factory and Omniverse. In terms of how AI is going to impact all these stocks you named, I think Synopsys Ansys has probably the best potential in terms of putting AI into the physical world. I know you had that great interview with Sassine as well, and I think that that transaction makes so much sense. You're really creating a technical software juggernaut between these two companies. And what is Synopsys getting with Ansys? They're getting all that great distribution, right? Thousands of individual businesses across automotive, industrial, aerospace who use Ansys simulation. Now we get to take Synopsys' AI software that they use in their core electronic design automation tools and put it into all that different simulation. And that kind of relates back to the Omniverse vision that Jensen has.
Okay, Dom, but if we are to believe that AI is a transformative shift, like web, like mobile, like cloud, wouldn't that mean that there's a large set of maybe sub-$100 billion market cap software names that are undervalued, or no? Might the mega caps suck up a lot of the value there?
Well, here it's the great question right now, whether or not AI is going to end up being great for the large companies or better for the small companies. And are we going to see a bunch of new companies come out of this? Look, we just saw Workday, Salesforce, HubSpot, Oracle, all have their analyst day in the past few weeks. And all of them talked about the same thing, AI agents, right? And what's the difference between co-pilots and agents? Co-pilots, humans are in the loop. AI agents have agency. Humans are not in the loop. They are they're being conducted by humans to go do tasks on their behalf. And I think that that's really where we're going to see the explosion in some of these software names. I particularly think HubSpot's very well positioned for this as they build out their entire agent platform, agent.ai.
Dom, we also had Sarah Fryer, the CFO of OpenAI, on CNBC earlier today, and we know they just closed a massive funding round. They've also set up a credit facility, and while not anywhere near close to an IPO, according to that interview, we know there's this restructuring to a for-profit entity happening, and that they are looking to invest more, deploy more into their next generation capabilities. It raises a question, though, about whether things are getting very frothy. Whether it's in the public markets or perhaps most notably in the private markets, and what it says about whether winners and losers have already been determined.
Yeah, look, I think AI has the potential to be the largest productivity enhancer for the global economy since electricity. And if you study historical productivity enhancing technologies, they come with speculative bubbles, right? If you go back and you look at and build out the railroads, the internet, that's what happens with productivity enhancing technologies. So I'd actually say it's very natural. Where we are today, I don't see that necessarily. The global technology universe is trading at roughly 24 times earnings. That historically trades at 26 to 28 times earnings at the peak. It's got up further than that if you go back to the late 90s, early 2000s. And then if we look at OpenAI itself, if they hit the numbers that seem to be out there, it actually doesn't look that unreasonable. But the question is, can they hit those numbers?
Okay. Finally, I got to ask you about Apple. JPM came out with a survey, said this iPhone upgrade cycle for consumers, not about AI. Is it too soon to say that that's actually the case, or is it worth examining whether we're actually going to see a super cycle here?
Look, I think we have to look at this Apple upgrade cycle as a multi-year phenomenon, right? Let's look at the carriers. T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T all posted upgrade rates sub 3% last quarter. I mean, the installed base is getting very large and getting very old. If we look at the iPhone itself, we haven't even seen the main feature that would make people want to upgrade, which is Apple Intelligence, right? That's really starting to roll out in October through the rest of December in English-speaking countries, and then the rest of the world kind of into next year. So if I think about this cycle for Apple, it's more of a 24-month upgrade cycle that we're going to see rather than a 6 to 12-month pop.
Interesting. If you guys didn't know, I saw like some sort of ad last night saying that if you trade in any iPhone at Verizon, you get a free iPhone 16. Like they'll just upgrade you for free or $1,000 credit towards it or something. I don't know, I forget. I'm gonna go by today and see what that's all about. But let me real quick just to answer the question in the chat that somebody asked. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, the United States has committed approximately $56.3 billion in security assistance to Ukraine through both presidential drawdown authority and the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. I think it's with like just like the equipment and stuff as well, not just like funding itself. But I don't know for sure if how accurate that is. That's what I found, but it is what it is. All right, XRP sinks after the SEC files a notice of appeal in Ripple case. This is yeah, they announced a possible ETF and then the SEC drops this bomb on them. So it was like a, hey, you got this far, and then we just smashed you back down. Let's do it.
Today,
oh, actually, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. Oh, a little
XRP tumbles after the SEC says that it will appeal that landmark.
I'll skip the, what's it called? How much the markets were at. I'm I'm gonna bump this up though to 1.2.
Ripple ruling. And Visa's crypto head Kai Sheffield walks us through the payment giant's new tokenization platform. Okay, let's stick with that Ripple news as we talk about the top stories. The SEC says that it will push back on its partial court loss against the XRP issuer. The regulator filed a notice of appeal yesterday, more than a year after a federal judge ruled the sale of Ripple's XRP on public exchanges does not meet the criteria of a security, giving the company a partial victory over the regulator in its years-long legal battle. Now, in response to this latest move from the SEC, Ripple Labs chief legal officer Stuart Alderati said on X that the SEC's decision to appeal prolongs what he calls, quote, a complete embarrassment for the agency, and that the company is weighing whether to file a cross appeal. He also questioned whether it's a coincidence that the agency announced the resignation of its enforcement director this morning ahead of the notice of appeal. An SEC spokesperson told CNBC that the agency believes the court's decision conflicts with Supreme Court precedent and securities laws. It also said that it looks forward to making its case to the Second Circuit. Next, North Korean operatives are reportedly infiltrating global crypto companies. CoinDesk reports that more than a dozen firms unknowingly hired IT workers from North Korea. Crypto projects that are reportedly affected include Cosmos Hub, ZeroLend, and Sushi. CoinDesk reports that some of the North Korean workers used proceeds from their IT earnings to fund the country's nuclear weapons program. A recent United Nations report reveals that overseas IT workers generate between $250 and $600 million annually for North Korea. Last, a CFTC subcommittee reportedly voted to pass recommendations allowing asset managers, including BlackRock and Franklin Templeton, to use tokenized shares of their money market funds as collateral. Now, Bloomberg reported that a subcommittee of the regulator's Global Markets Advisory Committee voted to pass guidelines on the handling and transferring of tokenized funds to the broader agency. Tokenization has garnered attention multiple times over the years, but Wall Street has been taking another look at the blockchain use case in the hopes that it could make markets more efficient and drive profits. We reached out to the CFTC for comment, but didn't hear back right away. Okay, sticking with tokenization for our main story, Visa just announced its new tokenization platform for banks called the Visa Tokenized Asset Platform, or VTAP. Now, the goal of the new service is to let more than 15,000 banks use blockchain technology for things like tokenized deposits. I spoke with the payment giant's head of crypto, Kai Sheffield, about that new product and where Visa's crypto strategy is headed. So you're introducing the Visa Tokenized Asset Platform. Walk me through what VTAP will do.
Yeah, so we're super excited about the announcement this week. So VTAP gives the ability for banks to issue and manage fiat-backed tokens. And so one of the things that we've seen is really the growth and excitement around stablecoins, which are now at an all-time high, around 170 billion in circulation. And we talk to banks all over the world that are really interested in figuring out how can they issue their own fiat-backed products. And so we're powering a lot of these capabilities for them and excited to work closely with banks to bring new products to market.
And so
now they're probably going to go over this, but did they choose to use like Ethereum or something for part of Visa's like tokenization stuff? I don't know. You guys let me know if you've heard that.
Why launch this platform now? Is it a product of the kinds of conversations that you were describing, as in the market indicates that this is a good idea and that there is a sufficient appetite for this?
Yeah, so we've been following this space closely for many years now. And the story and genesis behind this platform, it was actually a lot of the work that we did with central banks across the world. And so we've been involved in CBDC pilots and sandboxes in Hong Kong and in Brazil. And we really got the opportunity to start working closely with banks, helping them with technology to be able to mint and manage these tokens. And we then decided to commercialize it and make this platform available on the Visa Developer Portal. And we've got many banks that work with us today for a range of different solutions. And as they start to enter into the blockchain space, we think Visa can help be a bridge for banks to be able to interact with blockchains with their own tokens.
Talk about what this partnership with the banks looks like. How are you going to bring them online? What kinds of use cases do you think are going to be most relevant to them?
Yeah, so our goal is really to be the easiest way that banks can get started. And I think what we found is, many banks have been researching, they've been exploring, they've been participating in working groups, but you can only learn so much until you actually, get your hands on a product, put something out there. And so we've got the sandbox that's available that we announced this week, where banks can come in, they can start, minting, burning, transferring these tokens. And there are a range of different use cases that we're seeing banks, interested in. And it really depends on the bank. There are banks that are looking at this as really blockchains becoming a modern ledger where they can do intra-bank payments that are 24/7 between their clients. We've got banks that are interested in capital market use cases, seeing the tokenization of securities and bonds and real estate. They want a cash leg to be able to trade those assets. We've got banks looking at smart contracts and new lending possibilities. Can they automate a lot of their internal processes? And so we're excited to work closely, hand in hand with banks to help them find the use cases where fiat tokens can be meaningful for their business.
Real quick, so this is the thing I was looking at. It says Visa to help banks issue fiat-backed tokens on Ethereum via new tokenized asset platform. So yeah, this is I guess, whatever, on Ethereum, tokens on Ethereum.
Now, what I keep hearing is that the technology involved with tokenizing assets is really the easiest part of the equation. You know, it took PayPal something like 4 years to issue PYUSD because it was a regulatory nightmare. And this is PayPal that we're talking about. So it's not that the technology is what's preventing people from doing this. It's really the regulatory and audit piece of this. And so my question to you is Visa doing anything to solve this piece of the puzzle, perhaps help a platform or a bank with a regulatory aspect, throw Visa's weight behind them when it comes to working with digital asset regulators?
Yeah, so we've been engaging with regulators across the world, and really, we think it's important to have regulatory clarity around what are the rules for issuing a stablecoin or a tokenized deposit. And so we plan to continue doing that. However, really here the bank is the licensed issuer of the product, and so we're working very closely with the banks that we're partnering with to help them find a path to be able to test and get a product live. And we think it's not just the technology. There are also big questions around rules and standards for how these products should function. I think we've seen banks start to test and experiment with tokenized deposits and stablecoins in a very fragmented way. Banks are writing their own smart contracts. One bank's product looks very different from each other. And so I think there's a big role for Visa to play to create global standards and enable a platform where banks can issue products that can then interact with each other because they're built upon the same rules and standards, using the VTAP system.
So
Douglas in the chat said Visa tested on Solana and Ethereum. Last I read, they picked Ethereum. Yeah, so they did pick Ethereum. As far as why, the fees are ass, right? So that's like a huge negative, but the positive is the fact that Ethereum is not a security, so it's probably works out in their favor in that aspect. I don't know.
VTAP just going to be within the US, or are you expanding out to other global jurisdictions?
Yeah, so the goal is for this to be a global platform. And as the technology enabler, it really comes down to working closely with banks as the regulated institutions and in markets where they're able to bring these products live. But the technology capabilities we plan to make available very broadly.
So Visa's been especially progressive on the crypto front. How are you thinking about integrating stablecoins into your card business, if at all? I would imagine that this would present some cool solutions with respect to Forex and international settlement.
Yeah, we think there are huge opportunities here. And we really started, we set up a crypto team really in the depths of the last bear market, about 5 years ago. And we really looked at a new set of fintech platforms that were building on top of crypto and stablecoins. And we wanted to give them a path to be able to issue Visa cards. And I think one of the things that we found is, as amazing as stablecoins can be, there isn't merchant acceptance. And so they can only have so much utility if you're just holding them as a store of value. You need to have a way to spend a stablecoin. And we think that linking a Visa credential to a stablecoin wallet is the best way to do that. We partner with over 50 crypto wallets and exchanges to be able to bring these products to market. And then we started to experiment with how can Visa enable clients to settle with us using stablecoins on blockchain rails. And it's still early days, but we're seeing growing demand and interest from many of our clients that are starting to incorporate stablecoins into their corporate treasuries and looking to be able to settle directly with Visa on chain. And we think there's a huge opportunity to meet clients where they are and start to utilize these technologies to improve our core network and services.
So to your last point, Visa has been talking about accepting USDC for settlement. Has that been brought live across the board? And can you walk our viewers through what problem this is solving?
Yeah, so this is live today, in a handful of pilots, with clients on both the issuing side and the acquiring side. And it really started, when we worked with crypto companies to be able to issue cards. We found that a number of these crypto platforms, they're using stablecoins to pay their employees, stablecoins to pay their vendors, and they wanted to use stablecoins to be able to pay Visa. And so we authorize transactions in real time. And then at the end of the day, we need to settle with those clients. And our goal is to give more options and choice to these clients to be able to send us their preferred currency on the preferred network that they're using already. And so we launched this pilot about a year ago. We've got a handful of partners in it. And we're seeing really early positive signs of traction and more demand from many of our clients that we're talking to start to settle with Visa in USDC as well.
Okay, that's all for.
Interesting. Real quick. All right. So Shark Farmer in the chat said Visa, seeing that crypto is growing, they don't want to miss out on fees, which is 1000% correct. Dan R said, just don't forget that if Visa is using ETH, you are going to have a transaction fee or gas from Ethereum, and you are going to get the same fee again from Visa. So you get double fisted in the ass. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. So like 100% agree. Ethereum's fees are ass, right? But again, on the side of Visa, with using Ethereum, it not being a security lessens the hiccups that they're going to have to, or the hurdles they're going to have to jump over. You know what I mean? So I get it. But yeah, that That does suck. Maybe a better thing will come down the line eventually. Solana, maybe. We'll see. Bitcoin versus gold, epic debate. Let's get into the video of the day. Swan, Bitcoin. I'm going to bump this up over here. This was posted 3 weeks ago. Get the fuck out of here. This isn't the one I picked. This is the one I picked. Hold on. I got to look. Maybe that was. The video was 3 weeks ago. I don't. You know, whatever. We'll watch it. Let's watch it. If it sucks, then I'll change it. I gotta go back again.
Bitcoin is.
All right, let's see what they gotta say over here. I didn't know this was 3 weeks ago when I picked it this morning.
Bitcoin is scarce in the sense that there's 21 million of them. But so what? It's just a string of numbers. There's nothing to look at. You know, there's nothing that it does that's any different than all the other strings of numbers of all the other cryptocurrencies. In fact, there's 22.1 quadrillion Satoshis. I mean, there's enough Satoshis for everybody to have hundreds of thousands of them. You can't do anything more with a Bitcoin than you can with a Satoshi, which is nothing.
You were watching the presidential debate last night. I was watching the Bitcoin versus gold debate between Jack Mallers and Peter Schiff. We're not the same. Today, we're going to go over some highlight clips from this epic debate. We'll cover topics like Bitcoin priced in gold, gold returns corrected for inflation, has it really performed well, the problems with inherent value, is Bitcoin really scarce if it can be infinitely divided? Yes, I'm serious. Whether Bitcoin can even be considered money today, and finally, did gold officially fail as money in 1971? Let's get into it.
It seems like it's going to be an interesting video, though.
This past weekend, David Lin released a hotly
I saw Peter Schiff on it, and I was like, "Ooh, I have to watch this," because you know it's going to be like one of them debate moments.
Anticipated debate between Jack Mallers, CEO of Bitcoin company Strike, and Peter Schiff, gold bug and prominent Bitcoin skeptic. Okay, let's get right into it with some highlights, and I'll provide some commentary on the back end.
Even though Bitcoin made a new nominal record high this year in dollars, it never made a new high in gold. The high for Bitcoin priced in gold was still back in 2021. And we're more than 30% below that high now, about 3 years later. So I think the tide has already turned, where Bitcoin is going to continuously lose value measured in the price of gold.
If you were to zoom out that same chart, David,
sure.
Bitcoin made a local high when priced in gold in late 2013. It entered what Peter's calling a gold bear market all the way until 2017, where it hit smashing new highs. That was a 3-year gold bear market Bitcoin was in. It then made another smashing high in December of 2017. It remained in what Peter describes as a gold bear market up until 2020, where it made new smashing highs. And so now we're in what Peter's describing another gold bear market for another 3 years. I see no evidence as to why Bitcoin won't continue to smash and make new highs. And then maybe some years down the road, I'll be on a call just like this, and Peter will say it will enter another gold bear market. You can't call an asset over a 3-year period, such a short time frame, a bear market, when over its history, it's continuously outperformed gold over and over and over again. To me, that looks like adoption cycles. That doesn't look like a bear market. I think for my case for Bitcoin, in my opinion, it's the best money in human history. It's for very fundamental purposes of the properties that we want in a money. For one, it's the scarcest money in human history. It's the only monetary asset of all time that has a fixed supply. It's the most portable asset of all time. It's the only monetary asset that you can teleport over a communications channel like the internet. It's the most divisible asset of all time. It can measure an asset that's the size of a grain of sand. It can also measure assets the size of sports franchises. It is infinitely divisible because it's bytes of data. It's durable, it's portable, it's actually censorship resistant to governments and central parties, which gold, unfortunately, is not. And so to me, Bitcoin has been the most performant asset in human history. If you don't want to take the early number bias, over the last decade, Bitcoin has an average annual return of around 60%. Gold has an inflation-adjusted return of annually around 2% over that same duration. So I think Bitcoin is better money. I think monies compete over monetary policy, and I expect Bitcoin to continue to do what it's already done.
So Schiff brings up that Bitcoin is down when priced in gold, which is true. But I think it's also important to note that the gold price, when corrected for inflation, hasn't even hit the highs it made in the early 1980s, which I find just mind-blowing. Gold is lauded as some perfect...
Wait, what? Really? That was the high back in 1980s, $2,640. And we haven't hit that here. We've just touched $2,500 an ounce. Wait, what? That's wild. How like if you're literally like one of them gold guys, right? Like Peter Schiff, like how do you look at this chart and see it any different than Bitcoin is definitely performing much better? That is so weird.
Blowing. Gold is lauded as some perfect hedge against inflation, yet it hasn't even been able to keep up with it over the last 40 plus years. I will agree that, of course, Bitcoin priced in gold is a much more accurate price signal than Bitcoin in USD. Gold.
I just don't get how you could argue the point that Bitcoin sucks when when the chart looks like that. I didn't know it was like that. That was really bad.
Is hard money, and of course the US dollar is not. And as we discussed in yesterday's video, the Bitcoin price when adjusted for inflation is actually much lower than it is today. The point is, which Jack points out, is that Bitcoin historically works in cycles, and we are still currently in the recovery phase of the previous bear cycle. So if history rhymes at all, we should expect new highs for Bitcoin priced in gold as well as USD in the next year to year and a half. But of course, only time will tell. Okay, let's get into the next clip, which covers the infamous inherent value debate.
Scarcity in and of itself doesn't mean anything. I mean, gold is not valuable because it's scarce. I mean, it has a high price because it's scarce, but its value is not from its scarcity, but from its properties as a metal, right? Gold can do things that other metals and other material can't do. And so there are a lot of places where gold is used because it adds a lot of value.
I can't believe I'm arguing this with the Peter Schiff. All value is subjective, David. It's actually the fact that you can't chew your Bitcoin, put it in a jewelry kit, sponsor it in a music video is a property. It's a pro to the asset. Listen, if you had a money that had 10 total units and you were producing 1 unit per year, so that's the stock to flow ratio, the new supply dynamic. Let's just, for example's sake, if you were to take half of that total supply and you were to demonetize it and commercialize it and consume it, that makes it a worse money because now the total money supply of that monetary good is now 5, still being produced at 1 per year. So you don't want to be consuming your money. You want the money to be used for monetary purposes. Money is the market good that you do
Bitcoin
not.
Can't.
Hold on, Peter. I'll let you finish. The money is the market good, David, that you do not consume. You strictly acquire it only to save it and exchange it for things later. It is not because gold is used in Peter's cufflinks that gold is money. Gold is money because it's a hard asset that despite rampant demand, finding new supply has been more difficult. That's why silver was demonetized. So all of his claims against Bitcoin are the same with gold. Again, what's the confidence that someone will value Bitcoin tomorrow? What's the confidence someone will value gold tomorrow? Gold is not used as a money because you can put it in cufflinks. Gold is used as a money for the monetary properties I just went over. What you want in a money is the monetary good that's best at being money, that's best at being the market good to both save your money through time, your value through time, and be able to exchange your value and money through space.
So this argument,
but I'm super jealous I can't talk like that guy, Jack. He is literally, he just stomped on Peter so hard.
About inherent value gives all Bitcoiners and Austrian economists a splitting headache. Jack really holds his own here and challenges the ridiculous claim that gold has value because of its industrial use cases. If this was true, the vast majority of gold's market cap wouldn't be attributed to its monetary properties as a store of value. How much of the monetary premium of gold is placed on it as a store of value versus it as jewelry or components in electronics? As Jack points out, value is subjective and is arrived at by the free market, not by any magical inherent qualities. Money is not meant to be consumed, but traded for things you value into the future. Bitcoin represents unencumbered money, as its only value is placed on its ability to be a good money. Now let's move on to the most embarrassing part of the debate for Schiff.
Bitcoin is
Ponzi in the chat says, Mr. Schiff sells gold, the boy sells dreams.
scarce in the sense that there's 21 million of them, but so what? It's just a string of numbers. There's nothing to look at. You know, there's nothing that it does that's any different than all the other strings of numbers of all the other cryptocurrencies. In fact, there's 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. I mean, there's enough Satoshis for everybody to have hundreds of thousands of them. You can't do anything more with a Bitcoin than you can with a Satoshi, which is nothing.
Man, Schiff is a smart guy, but I swear he drops 50 IQ points whenever he talks about Bitcoin. This is totally embarrassing, and I'm surprised Jack didn't laugh out loud here. Schiff is basically making the infinite pizza debate, which says Bitcoin isn't scarce because it can be infinitely divided. He's basically saying you can take one large pizza, divide it into millions of pieces, and feed the entire planet. Bitcoin is divisible, but that doesn't change the fact that there is only 21 million whole parts. Shockingly, many prominent economists have also made this mistake, so we'll excuse Schiff here for the brain fart. This next clip is my favorite part, and one which I think really encapsulates the debate of Bitcoin versus gold.
Getting back to your idea that Bitcoin is the greatest money that's ever been invented, I don't think it qualifies as money at all, because money has to be the most marketable commodity, and the commodity has to have value unto itself, and Bitcoin has none. Bitcoin is used to exchange, and you can speculate on it, you can buy it, and maybe somebody else will pay a higher price, but apart from that, it's not used for anything the way money is supposed to be, like gold is.
Peter, does a money need to be accepted at the store? So if like Papa John's does not accept a certain asset, would you then disqualify it as money? Which would mean gold
money has to be acceptable as a medium of exchange, yes.
Okay, so gold is not money either.
Gold is not being used as...
I was literally just going to say, you can't use gold to buy shit at the store.
Money today other than by central banks. Gold has been demonetized and it's mainly a commodity, but you know, it can be accepted. I mean, I would certainly accept gold just like you would probably accept Bitcoin, but if somebody wanted to buy something from me and pay in gold, I'd be happy to take it. But gold is not functioning as money right now, even though it historically has been money. We've had about the last 50 years where gold has not been money ever since 1971, when Nixon, closed the gold window. But before that, gold was acting as money because it was backing up the currencies that were circulating. And what gave legitimate currency value was the gold, the money that backed it up.
The real problem with gold is that, unfortunately, it has to centralize. The problem is that gold can't achieve transaction finality without the help of a government or a central party, meaning that when gold was operating in a local economy and you can exchange the physical coins with your direct counterpart for your butcher, your local tailor, your grocer, whoever you were exchanging with, gold was great. When the world needed to scale an economy and the velocity of money larger than your local economy, gold failed us. Gold failed us because gold is just a bare physical metal. It does not carry a monetary network. What's the gold network? The gold network are human beings. And when you're trying to transact in an economy of billions of people globally, you are reliant on central parties, banks, governments. And it was for that reason that gold failed. And it failed in a way that you can't operate a truly free market when the concentrated supply is with those that you have to trust. And so that's fundamentally what Bitcoin solved, is that you are able to create a scarce bearer instrument and a network that can achieve finality in transactional settlement without the reliance on any government or central party. That's really the core issue of why gold's been demonetized since. I think on the points of Bitcoin, like needing more history and it's young, I mean, I think that sounds like a personal problem for you, Peter. Like that, I think you need more evidence, and that's you being slow to recognize reality, right? Like if you were to need the internet to prove that email is better than traditional mail, you would just be late to adopting better technology.
I love that mic drop moment where Jack catches Peter on gold not being used as money today. What Jack says here is the crux of the argument. Gold failed as money because it relies on corruptible humans. It became centralized, and the failure of human forces to keep an honest account of the centralized holdings is what led to fiat money in the first place. In a world without the need to trust corruptible humans on a large scale, gold would still exist as good money. But we don't live in that world, and we never will. Enter Bitcoin. This is exactly what Bitcoin was created to solve. It's the first money free from counterparty and centralization risk. We no longer need to trust the bank or the nation state that they hold the dollars or the gold that they say they do. So although this debate did get heated at times, I love the way the two showed mutual respect for each other. And it really ended on a positive note.
Yeah, I would just end it by telling the audience, I don't dislike gold at all. I like gold. And I like Peter. I mean, this screenshot of this conversation.
Not the Peter thing, but I like gold. I've definitely invested in gold before. I was in gold before Bitcoin, and I still hold gold. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Is going right in my scrapbook. Like I said, I grew up on both your work, really. But, Peter, obviously, I really respect the good fight you've been fighting.
Let me just say one thing, too, to reiterate that. I have the same respect for Jack. I'm not saying this to be condescending, but as a father, I think that your parents did a great job in raising you. So I've got nothing but goodwill for you. And I really appreciate and admire what you've been able to accomplish. And I hope my kids can be as successful.
Wow, that was actually probably the nicest thing I've ever heard come out of his mouth.
Appreciate that, man. That means a lot.
Love to see it. No matter where you stand on this debate, you got to find common ground. And the fact—
Interesting. All right, he's gonna shill Swan Bitcoin, but shout out to him for that video, because that was a really good video, and I'm glad I actually picked it up. I'm kind of pissed I didn't see it three weeks ago. Anyways, recapping for anybody just joining, I gotta get out of here. Back to daddy duty. You guys know the drill. All right, Bitcoin $61,506. We got Ethereum at 2387, looking pretty good. Everything's kind of halted for the most part. Nothing's really jumping up crazy, right? Just 1 or 2% across the board mostly. But hopefully we have a rise this weekend. Typically, what I've been noticing, or I'm sure you guys have noticed too, Fridays, typically the weekend, things pump, and then Monday things fall off a little bit. It's just how it goes, right? Stock market's closed on the weekends. People like to trade Bitcoin, crypto. ADA over here, 35 cents. Actually, this jumped up almost 4%. We got Near Protocol almost 4% as well. $4.72. We got Caspa just at about 15 cents. We got Litecoin, $64, almost 64 and a half. XRP letting us down as always, 52 cents over here. We got APT over here, $8.90, up 5.94%, just about 6%. SUI is down real bad today, almost 8%, or 7.5% rather, $1.74. Let's see, Dogecoin almost 11 cents at 10.8 to be exact, up almost 5%. XMR is up about 5%, a little over, 146 bucks. Renders up 7% actually, $5.57. Let's check out crypto bubbles real quick, make sure we didn't miss anything here. No, we didn't. FTT still, Hex is actually biggest earner of the day as of right now, 20% up on the day. This is a coin I'm definitely never going to invest in, but you guys do what you want. It's up to a penny, almost 2 pennies, up 20%. I don't know. It's had a real shitty year until recently, which is kind of strange. I don't know what changed. You guys let me know if you know. FTT over here is up 19%. I guess they're paying people back real soon. So $2.38. I still don't know why people invest into that coin, but it is what it is. Yeah, everything else, guys, is pretty much the same as it was when we started. All right, flashbang. Fear and greed index is at a 41. 41. If you guys didn't know, this is still in fear. Yesterday was 37. It is okay. This is what we need. We need the needle in fear, and we need the markets to start coming back a little bit slowly before election, and hopefully hopefully things go well. But guys, that's gonna do it. As always, it is Friday. It's payday for most of you. Hopefully you guys have a great one, and I will catch you guys next time. But I can't leave you without playing this. So you guys, see you Monday morning. Actually, I'll see you tomorrow night, Saturday night, Mr. Mining Saturday Night Live. Peace. Let's check this out.
I wanna hold until I can't no more.
Have a happy and safe Friday. Don't spend your whole paycheck in one place. If you do, buy Bitcoin. Peace. And don't forget,
if she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her.
Perfect.